fishing is absolutely amazing. You've got a good memory too, thank you for that. And since you're speaking next, I want you to come up because I'd like to present a certificate of office of the Governor of the State of Wisconsin.
Wow.
What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing, it's very small print. This is Certificate of Commendation honoring Captain Barb Carey, 59th Annual Wisconsin Governor's Fishing Opener. And I just have to go right down to this. Whereas, as a respected and trusted leader to many, Captain Barb Carey has helped promote and expand the sport of fishing to countless individuals across the state, and her work continues to uphold Wisconsin's proud history of sporting heritage. Now therefore, I, Tony Evers, Governor of the State of Wisconsin, do hereby recognize and thank Captain Barb Carey for her years of dedicated service to the sport of fishing in the state. Wish you members and organizers and anglers and supporters of the 59th Annual Wisconsin Governor's Fishing Opener. Barb, thank you for your
Thank you so much.
Thank you. How can I forget? It must have been because I was a part.
No worries, no worries.
There you go.
Wow, what an honor. Totally took me off guard. Oh, wow. See, you should have warned me. Now I'm all emotional and I got to give the keynote address. Geez, oh, Pete's. Oh, I want to thank you for this opportunity. It really means a lot. And I want to thank Governor Evers for joining me in my boat again. This is the 5th time. He's been at this thing for 6 years. He's been with me for 5 out of the 6 years. Even though he doesn't remember, the only year he did not catch a fish, I was not there. Just to be clear, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I have a reputation to uphold, and I didn't want that discounted by any means. So, and he did catch the largest walleye ever caught by a governor in the opener with me 2 years ago. So that is my claim to fame. So, I want to thank everyone who's putting on this event. I know how hard it is. I put on fishing events for a living. It's not easy. I applaud you. Excellent job. I will say, though, that if the governor and I don't catch a fish tomorrow, it's got to be the banana in the to-go box. We saw that in the manifesto that they sent out, and I'm like, what? Because those of us that are deeply embedded in the fishing culture, that's like huge red flag, huge red flag. I also want to acknowledge the media people that are here. I have a lot of experience in the outdoor media industry. I had a radio show. I was an outdoor writer. I still really believe in those stories are very important. And I know it's a really challenging time to be a journalist. Sharing compelling stories based on real life experiences, based on truth and factual observation. It's never been more important for those stories to be told. One of the things I admire most about Governor Evers is he speaks the truth. He never claims to be the greatest angler in the universe. In fact, he admits that he's not that skilled. But he shares with me some stories that he had of his childhood when he was out fishing or ice fishing, and he really enjoyed that. And those are memories that are very important to him. And nobody can take that from you. I grew up in the UP of Michigan, and fishing was something that I've done my whole life. I have a passion for it. When I'm fishing, my mind and my body fill with an excitement that is not duplicated by anything else. I become in a hyper state of awareness, taking in all the little details around me that are so important, whether you catch a fish or you don't catch a fish. The possibility of something exciting can happen at any moment. as long as you're fishing. And we all have memories of that one time that we had that experience. It's one of the activities that I can do that I'm totally present in the moment. Every other time I'm thinking about, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. But when I'm fishing, I'm fishing. That's all I'm doing. And it's something that happens to you when you're out there, and it's like a luxury. How many other times in your life do you have those moments where you can be so present? It brings me so much joy. Now, I've attended this governor's opener for several years now. I have learned about the economic impact that the fishing industry has on the state of Wisconsin. We have heard about the importance of water quality and how it affects not only us humans, but also the fish. We hear about how tourism is benefited by the influx of recreational anglers that visit destinations and how local businesses depend on those tourist dollars. These are all very important factors related to the fishing industry. When I was asked to talk to you today, I wanted to share my experience of what I see is an important benefit of fishing. First, let me share how I got here. After my daughter went off to college, I had more free time, like most mothers and parents do. That was over 29 years ago. One thing I noticed is that when I was out fishing, I never saw any other women fishing, especially ice fishing. And I thought, maybe they don't know how cool it is. Maybe they don't know how much fun it is. And I felt bad for them. I really felt bad for them. And I thought, well, what can I do? So I started to invite some of my friends to have come and participate in these fishing outings. And it started with ice fishing on Lake Mendota. That one event led to another event the next year, which led to a couple more events, which now started to include ice fishing and open water. By this time, I had gotten injured as my job as a police officer for the city of Madison. I had an on-duty injury that forced me to retire. And I loved my job. It meant everything to me. So now that was taken away, what was I going to do? So I kind of developed this passion for helping women get involved in fishing. So next thing you know, I founded Wisconsin Women Fish. Now, Wisconsin Women Fish is a fishing club for women. In the very first event, we had 20 women there. Nobody owned a boat. Some people fished as kids. Some people never fished before. And some people were pretty good. We were on the shore of Castle Rock Lake, and it was a weekend of camping and fishing. It was amazing. What started as one woman's passion quickly spread throughout the group. And we all talked about it after. It was just like everybody wanted to look forward to the next one. As I look back over the last 20 years, 20 years is a long time in the fishing industry. If you look back 20 years ago, if you're an angler, how we fished then compared to how we fish now, and how the marketing and tourism models were 20 years ago to how they are now, there's a huge growth spurt in there. So one of the things I did and I do this every time, I write all this shit and then I never look at it and then I just start talking. So just so you know, we're at this point in the keynote address. So I started going to the fishing shows. Madison, Wisconsin had a big fishing show, the Yahara Fishing Show. So I went there and I started going to all the booths, So I went to this one booth and it was a boat dealer. And I told the guy what I was trying to do. He goes, hey, I'll sponsor a boat for you. And I said, whoa, well, I'm not ready for a boat. So I kept doing what I was doing and kind of get stuff in order and stuff. And the next year I went back there and I said, well, I think I'm ready for a boat. So he said, okay. So the show was in February. That spring, I had a brand new Lund 1775 Impact. Nice. Nice boat, 115 horsepower Mercury with the bow-mounted trolling motor and hummingbird graphs. It was awesome. The trolling motor even had a remote control. So I said, okay, I got a boat now. Now I'm going to do a boating class for women, Lake Wabeesa. So I started advertising it. And I grew up with a boat. I had boating experience. And now I had about a month to get familiar with this brand new boat, bigger than anything I've ever had before. So people signed up, women signed up for the class. I was shocked. So it's like, okay, well, now I got to give this class. So we go down to Madison the day before the class, really super windy, launch at Babcock Park. I had a friend of mine. She was going to come with me, you know, a little moral support. So if you're familiar with Babcock Park, Lake Wabeesa has an outlet. And it goes out of Babcock Boat Launch, which is a little bay, and then over a dam. So my friend backs the truck down and the trailer down. I'm in the boat, drive it off, and I'm kind of standing by, not hogging the dock, because that's bad boating etiquette. You got to leave the dock, because it's busy, and then come back and pick up your passenger. So she drives the truck back up, and now she's walking down, and I realize I forgot the remote control to the trolling motor, the handheld thing. So hey, go in the truck, I forgot the remote. So she turns around and starts walking back. Well, I'm looking down in the water, and I see these bass. They are huge, largemouth bass, just getting ready to spawn. And as I'm looking at these fish, my boat's drifting into the bay. You know, and I'm like, all of a sudden, my motor starts hitting these large rocks because it gets shallower and shallower. So I'm like, hurry and trim the motor up. And now I'm looking and I'm drifting right to the dam that's going over the edge. I'm like, oh my, what am I going to, you know, and it's like in the meantime, so I'm like, it's super shallow, you know, it's not that deep. So what am I going to do? I jumped out of the boat and I grabbed the rope. So now my friend is walking back down from the car with the remote, and she sees me walking my boat back to the launch. So as I'm walking the boat back to the launch, the water gets deeper. So I'm like hanging on to the side of the boat, and she's roaring. And I'm like, drive the boat in with the remote. So she's got the remote. She's never had the remote before in her life. She turns it on. So now I'm hanging on the side of the boat. She's driving the boat back to the launch. Well, then she starts having a little bit too much fun and starts making it go around in a circle. So I'm hanging on to my brand new boat the day before the boating basic safety class. You know, she finally drives back in to the dock, and we just burst out laughing. And, you know, I couldn't believe it. And it's like whenever I get a little too big on myself, you know, get a little bit too much ego, something like that happens every time. So the class went off without a hitch. You know, my parting words for all these women that are all stressed out, trying to learn how to launch boats and stuff was, fake it till you make it. So I got to just catch up here. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So the lesson for me that day was fake it till you make it. It shook my confidence, but now these women were really depending on me, and I'm really happy that the way it all came out, because fishing brings us adventure and memories, and that's a memory that I will always have. So later that year, I had a big event, fall fish camp. It was in Rhinelander on the Moen chain. And there was probably 40, 50 women at this one. And so I'm in the boat, you know, it's a 4-day thing, you know, everyone brings their boat. So I'm backing my boat up. And, you know, there's like 10 women standing around. All of a sudden I hear a crack. And I'm like, I hit a pole. And I get out and I say to these gals, why didn't you say something? And they said, well, we thought you knew what you were doing. So I'm like, oh. So later that night, we had the group meeting and stuff. And I was frustrated, you know. So I had a little talk before the events and stuff, and I spoke about taking action, about how sometimes you have to step up and say something. You have to take action, not wait for someone else to do something, because sometimes it's you. You're the one. And I gave this impassioned spiel about even when it's hard, you know, you got to step up and take action. I talked about being mentally prepared, planning ahead. In my life, I've had the luxury of a lot of training as a police officer. So you trained for things to happen. And when something happens, all that training kicks in. And I've seen victims that were victims because they weren't prepared. And most women know, like, you're going in a dark parking lot in an area, you know, you think ahead, you look around, you're paying attention, you've got your keys, all those things, because you're being prepared. The more prepared you are, the better chance you have of us responding appropriately. So the next day, I ain't making this up, this really happened. Group of boaters went out, everyone's got their boats, all sorts of boats now, they're out there fishing. All of a sudden they see this pontoon boat, and there's this guy and his wife and a dog on a pontoon. Beautiful fall day, the water is just, the landscape is covered with trees in full colorful bloom. It's like something out of a movie, it's so beautiful. So this guy and his wife are in the pontoon, they're driving along, and the dog's going, kind of jumping around. All of a sudden, the dog jumps out of the boat and is flailing. Well, the guy freaks out and jumps out of the boat to save the dog. Well, here, he leaves the woman in the boat who just had a knee replacement, never drove a boat in her life. So now they got the dog in the water, flailing on the guy with his paws, scratching his face. The guy can hardly keep himself up, and the woman is going around in circles, full speed with the boat. And what are these women doing watching this whole thing? They go, we've got to take action. I swear to God, they took their boat, they got in there, they took action, they got on the boat, they saved the day, they came back to shore later. We took action. And this situation has happened time and time again. I pulled people out of the Wolf River that fell out of their boat. Other women have stepped up time and time again after some of these taking action speeches that we have. It's incredible. Got to get caught up again because there's more. Blah, blah, blah. So, this is good. Here, can't leave that out. More often than not, when one of our new members attends an event, she decides to sign up, she gets in the car, she drives there, and more times than not, they tell me they thought about stopping the car and turning around and going back. But they didn't, something kept them there. And once they get through the door, I mean, we all have those middle school nightmares, you know, you got the cool kids, and then everyone else, and you're never quite a cool kid enough, and you never fit in, and where are you? Are they going to be mean to me? Are they cool kids and I'm not? You know, where am I going to fit? We all have that anxiety. It doesn't matter who you are. So in our organization, we have developed a culture where people are welcomed with open arms. It doesn't matter how good of an angler you are. It doesn't matter how much experience you have, and it doesn't matter if you have fancy gear, that old rod with the broken off tip. Just for showing up, they are welcomed with open arms. You can often see the stress melt away from their face. Some tell stories where they're almost turned the car around on the way, and they're back. We have created a space where everybody feels welcome. They can ask questions. They don't have to worry that someone will think it's a dumb question. They can post pictures of their catch and not worry about someone making a stupid comment or judging them. We teach them skills like pulling a boat and wheel bearings and what to do if this happens and what to do if that happens. And they start becoming prepared. One person shares her success and we all applaud. When someone is failing, we pick them up and support them. Everyone is welcome and everyone has a place at the table. We are all the cool kids. And for many, it's an aha moment where they finally feel as if I found my people. We all belong. We all belong. Over 40 years ago, when I first met a female police officer, I had an aha moment. My light bulb went off and said, if she can do it, I could do it. And my dad was a police officer, but I never considered for a minute that I could be until I saw that woman do it. And I knew if she could do it, I could do it. And that's one of our huge sayings. If she can do it, I can do it. It has become kind of a cornerstone of our organization. The other big saying in our organization is we are better together. It doesn't matter where you come from. We all share this passion. And together, we are better. You know, and I wondered sometimes why people get involved in gangs and get involved in certain groups that aren't healthy. It's because they belong. And it might be the first time ever that they belong to anything. You know, so having an environment where we are welcomed and we're belonged is really important. And the fishing culture has that. You know, outdoor experiences give us so much. An opportunity to relate to outside and danger and being prepared and all the good qualities that you need. I've personally experienced such great joy in these things and seeing the beautiful sunsets that someone else already referred to. There is a recipe. I'm going to share it with you now. The water has to be accessible to everyone. Public fishing and hunting grounds are the foundation for the entire outdoor community. Usable public lands are critical. Protecting the environment, the water quality, and the watersheds are one of the main ingredients in this recipe. Good fisheries managed by not only the policymakers, but the DNR, but also each individual angler. Fishing destinations must welcome all anglers. Have your banners read, "Welcome anglers." Be a source of useful information for people to enjoy the outdoor recreation in your area. We need to grow the sport by providing opportunities to new people to access it. Not that long ago, if you didn't grow up in a fishing family, you didn't get to go. We need to put more emphasis on high school outdoor lifetime sports curriculums instead of the football that only the genetically superior kids can participate in. Participating in this competition and being part of a team, even if you're the fat kid in the back row, you have a place with outdoor recreation. I have worked as a nurse, as a police officer, and I can honestly say that I've changed more lives working in the fishing industry than I have in either of those other two professions. I want to thank you today for welcoming me here. I want to thank you for trusting me as your captain. And I just really appreciate it. I know I'm running long. I just get so wrapped up in this, but it means so much to so many people. And it really is changing people's lives. And don't forget that piece of it, because remember, we are better together.
Thank you so much. I want to fish with you.
So amazing. Thank you.
She's got good stories.